I'm exhausted.
All right. Do you want to talk? Welcome to the show.
Oh,
Uh,
you're gonna do the welcome, not even me.
yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to? Do you want to talk about this, or is this taboo? You got an in-season prize. The
I
Westgate, is
did.
that taboo to talk about that? We got in the Westgate
No.
Super Contest. That's
Why would
what
it be taboo?
I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what your information of yours you want out there.
Well, the team name was Kelly in Vegas, so I'm gonna go
Oh,
ahead
that's
and
pretty
guess
on the
that.
nose. So I come into work. I came into work yesterday morning, Tuesday. Jay's on vacation, and the first thing is Rosemary has put a stack of check requests on my desk. She's like, "You got to sign these for the Super Contest winners," and like the first one is Kelly Stewart, and then I texted you, and then you were like, you were going on and on about how bad of an NFL season you've had. How is that even possible? I feel like we never lose. Tell me
Okay,
about this.
listen, John Murray. Here's the problem.
I'm listening.
I
I'm on
just
the
did a show with my good friend Todd Furman, and I would say that Todd was like maybe a mentor of mine, right? Like older brother. He taught me
yeah.
a lot. I worked with him at Don Best. We worked together at CBS.
I don't think
He's
Todd
like
is that
you.
old. Todd's not that old.
He's older than me. So,
Maybe
bottom line,
barely older than you.
here's the thing. He
Yeah.
taught me to be more disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
The
He didn't do a
contest, you're
very
not.
good job. Todd,
Oh,
if that's the lesson that Todd taught you, then Todd is not a good teacher. I'm sorry, Todd.
okay, first of all, the contests are hard because I would probably
Kidding.
bet 5 NFL games in a week,
Mm-hmm.
maybe once or twice a year. It has been really hard. I have been so selective, and had I not been selective, I would actually be making money. But instead, I'm going 1 and 2 or 2 and 3, or it's terrible how bad my NFL season's been. Also, the contest. I don't put the lines until Saturday, like 3:00 Eastern, or I don't put the games in. So I've got the best of the information. Sometimes you have some stale numbers.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm looking for you to get an extra pick, one of my buddies, or I'm randomly going, all right, well, I got to come up with a fifth. All right, fine. I kind of liked the Falcons or like some team that I would not actually get to the window with.
Yeah.
That's all I mean is it's just been a really frustrating season where like last week on Monday, I bet the Packers -3.5. Well, come Saturday, I hated it. So I took the 3 with the Bucks, ate the juice, and it was what it was. I could have sided myself. I'm very aware of that.
That was a
But
bad decision.
it was a bad decision. And so was this entire NFL season. To put it into perspective, the check that you wrote in my name is going to give me back 10% of my losses.
That
I
sucks.
did the math already. That
That
sucks.
that
That's
does
how
suck.
bad my NFL season has been.
But
And
you know
every
what?
single bookie that I know, including yourself, has admitted that the books have gotten crushed. Oh, am I
Yeah,
not allowed
it's
to
been
call you a
a
bookie? What would you like me to call you?
no. We did really well last week. We're regulated operators here. We did really well last week.
Oh, regulated operators. We're not allowed to call you guys bookies. I'm sorry.
But it's been a public NFL season, obviously. But you know what? You said something in that rant that I caught, and I thought was interesting. You're in contests and you put your picks in on Saturday, right? You
Yes.
know, obviously, I did pretty well in Circa Millions last year. Got a nice check from Derek. I put my picks on Saturday, but that's why I get annoyed with you when you or Lisa is texting me on like Tuesday for a fucking pick for Sunday.
First of all, I'm
I
not.
don't know
I
yet.
am
It's
not.
Tuesday.
First of all, I am not. I am not. And also in the contest, the lines don't move, right? So you're trying to get ahead of the market. You're trying to, for lack of better words, sometimes guess. There are sometimes I feel like it's a guess. I laid 2.5 with the Bills on Monday, and it was down to 1.5 when you gave it out. It's tough,
That was a
right?
bad.
It is.
That was a really bad schedule spot for Dallas. That was a really bad. They had that big win over Philadelphia on Sunday Night Football. Then they got to go up to Buffalo. That was a schedule spot play. But I just think
all I'm saying is that I laid 2.5 with the Bills thinking we might see a 3, which I know is very difficult and a lot of money. I thought it was going to be the sharpest side of the week, and albeit it ended up being, but I was surprised to see it come down in the way that it did. So I laid 2.5 thinking I was getting ahead of it.
You're not going to get a 3 on a game like that because the whole world was on Dallas.
In theory, but on Monday, I didn't know that the whole world was going to be on Dallas. I thought the whole world would be on the Bills with me. I mean, every handicapper I saw on X had the Bills.
Twitter, X. But look at what happened on Sunday Night Football. Dallas steamrolled Philadelphia. The public was all over Dallas. That was like our best game of the week. Anyways, the person I was at the Raiders game with showed me how to block a conversation. So I can still talk to you and still talk to Lisa.
Oh, you mute the conversation.
Yeah, that's what I'm sorry. That's the word, mute. So yeah, we're still talking. I talked to Lisa this morning, but that conversation's muted. I can't see whatever nonsense you guys are saying.
My phone stays on mute. Do you not know how Do Not Disturb works?
Yeah, I know I do. I have it on Do Not Disturb right now.
Okay, good.
Lisa gave out my phone number to someone this morning, and I
as like a reference because you're going to hire her as like a supervisor.
No. And then I texted her back. I don't like when people play on my phone, and she thought I was serious. That's a Chappelle Show reference, don't you? You no?
I don't remember that part. I remember the really funny ones, like the fuck your couch. I remember the like when you called her Tyrone Biggums or whatever his name was. Like I got that one because you said she was like a crackhead, and then she didn't get it, and then I used the GIF, and then she I think got it. But she is kind of a crackhead for your picks. I mean, they're really good.
What about this reference? So it's Sunday in the sports book. Of course, I'm at work. You know Dougie Kazarian. I used to do a podcast with him.
I got a bone to pick with you. Arthur has been in that sports book so many times, and never once in her nine years of life did you invite Coco in Vegas.
I don't think I invited Arthur. I think Doug just brought Arthur. But
just gonna bring a dog to the sports book.
That's fine. Anyways, so Doug's here with Arthur, some other people, and then obviously the great Adam Hill. He's over with John Von Tobel in another area. And the two groups aren't talking with one another. Neither one of them will go over to the other one to pay tribute. So I finally asked.
Is there like a beef there that I don't know about?
I don't know. So I asked Hannah, the waitress. You know her, obviously. She's great. I asked her to send a single glass of the House Red over from Adam and John's table to Doug. And Doug didn't understand the reference. So that was really disappointing. Tough scene on Sunday. I was a little tired on Sunday, to be honest, because I was at the fights pretty late on Saturday.
Oh, I bet you were.
Colby Covington, he's the reason why we have the word jabroni. That is how I would describe him. Gets a title shot after 2 years of not fighting. Talks all that.
But don't you think that's probably why he shouldn't get a title fight? Did we not learn anything?
He'll never get
but didn't we learn anything? Like, I don't know. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm smarter than the people that make these fights, but isn't that kind of like, hey, maybe we need to learn from this and not have a guy who's had basically 2 years off have a title fight?
Well, but the fight accomplished what they wanted it to accomplish. The tickets were
divide us as a nation between those who like Colby and those who hate Colby.
I don't think anyone dislikes Leon Edwards. I don't know why one would.
No, I don't know anything about him really.
But Donald Trump was there, so there was a crazy energy in the building. Obviously, the ticket prices were through the roof.
There was a fist fight between two fighters in the crowd.
I mean, it was a crazy atmosphere. Just the main event sucked. The main event was shit. Do you want to do?
Did you take the $2 underdog I sent you?
I did.
You and the unit. Okay, good.
You're talking about Josh Emmett. He knocked out Bryce Mitchell. That was probably the highlight of the night. That was the first fight of the pay-per-view. I was with Cameron.
The highlight. The guy literally had a seizure on the mat.
What? Well, yeah. I mean, that wasn't the highlight. The knockout.
Oh.
The seizure.
I was I felt guilty. I actually felt guilty that I cashed that ticket. I was like.
Did you give the money back?
No. But for a minute. Sorry, Louie, you are not in that group chat. And in fairness, I gave 2 losers out as well. But
I was never going to bet Colby Covington. I was never.
I had something else. Okay, so here's the thing that what the witch is doing. She's using like her witch astrological powers, and she's done really well. She's 16-7-3 in her UFC bet. So I did bet Colby. I think I got plus 165 because that was one of her picks. I don't care who they are, what they say, what they're doing. I'm just blindly betting her picks, and they're always underdogs. Always.
If you had told me that sentence about the astrological whatever, I would not have bet on Josh Emmett. So I'm glad that we didn't have this conversation.
It was in the stars that the other guy was going to get knocked out. That's
What
literally what her
does that
handicap
even
was.
mean, Kelly? I didn't know that.
I'm telling you, she prints money in the UFC, and it's always, she doesn't understand the line making. She doesn't know who's the favorite and the underdog. She takes both birthdays of each fighter. It only works in like single person events. Like you could do it probably with tennis, maybe. You could also probably do it with you can't do it with golf because the field is too big. You can't do like,
we have golf.
80 people.
We have head-to-head matchups in golf.
No, you can, but it doesn't really work that way. It's more of like where you are at the time you're born and where the fight is, at what time your fight's supposed to go, and what is supposed to happen to you according to the universe. I'm telling you, she prints money and they're always underdogs, and it's not like she understands that they're underdogs.
And this is why I had money on Josh Emmett on Saturday.
Yes. And all you have to say is thank you.
Oh, no.
There's plus 210. Plus 210.
I was with Cameron, our good friend. We were, they have these new beer, I don't even know what you call it, beer stations in T-Mobile.
Is it the kind where you touch it and it fills the bottom of the cup?
I've seen that. Those are cool. But they have those at UNLV basketball games. But these, you'd put your card in, and then you'd enter in through a turnstile, and then you could pick out whatever you want out of the refrigerator and then enter out.
Yeah, it knows what you took.
I don't like that.
That's scary. I've seen that at the airport.
I don't like that.
It's creepy. Facial recognition, credit card recognition. Yeah, it's creepy.
I don't like that at all. All right, let's do something you're not going to like. You want to talk
Why am I not going to like it?
You're going to bitch about this. Old Dominion.
Oh, God. Fuck.
Old Dominion. This was Monday.
I think I would have bitched about it, but Marshall was worse. And you didn't give me Marshall, but I played 13.5 in all of my stale contest numbers.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes. And then I thought, you know what? It's 7.5. I should come back and try to middle it. After, especially what happened with the Western Kentucky line. Like my buddy texted me, goes, "You're going to go for a middle?" I'm like, no. Why would I try? Why would I try to get crazy? I got 2 with Old Dominion. Line's now 7.
Yeah. If you've got that great of a bet, just let it go. That's the right thing to do.
Yeah. And look what happened with both of those.
Are you telling me that Old Dominion -2 wasn't a
Look what happened with New Mexico State. All of a sudden, here we are. And the guy who was supposed to play for Fresno State all year is all of a sudden playing in the bowl game. I mean, the guy's been hurt since like week 3.
Do you want more?
This is worse. This is worse than the NBA. Like right now, as it stands, these bowl games are really, really like starting to be painful.
I agree. It sucks. It sucks in a lot of ways because bowl season was my favorite thing to bet on when I first started betting 20 some years ago. And we always would do well booking these games. Now it's just chasing the information. It's tough. It's tough. We did very well.
Even the information isn't necessarily great.
No. Do you want any more bowl picks? Are you done now for bowl?
Give me the bowl picks. Come on, John Murray. At this point, I'm already pot committed. I'm down a few dimes. Let's go.
Are you gonna complain if like we lay 4 and it closes 10 and we lose?
That's my whole point. I'm not blaming you. I'm just frustrated.
You seem frustrated. You all right? All right. Let's start with the Armed Forces Bowl. So Air Force, they took plus 2.5 and 2 against James Madison. Air Force was on fire to start the season. They lost back-to-back games as like a 3-touchdown favorite in November. Just the wheels completely fell off. They did bet us Air Force. Texas State, minus 4.5 against Rice in the First Responder Bowl. And then this one I thought was interesting. We're getting a lot of money on this side all of a sudden in the last 24 to 48 hours. Ohio State against Missouri, they were taking plus 2.5, plus 1.5. That's a game with a favorite flip. The Ohio State quarterback is transferred to Syracuse, Kyle McCord. But now a lot of sharp money on the Buckeyes. Maybe we'll do something special at the SuperBook in Ohio for that game. That's a kind of a cool game. That's the Cotton Bowl. Are you going to watch that game? No. You're not? Okay, you seem very defeated lately.
Oh, I'm defeated. Like literally, like I think when Ray emailed me, he expected me to be so excited about winning the SuperBook. I was like, did you see the meme I used? It was like the guy that just throws up like the handful of confetti, like, oh, I
Why?
mean, like Chris texts me, he goes, why are you complaining? It's better than a sharp stick in the eye. And I go, no shit, it's better than a sharp stick in the eye. I'm not complaining about winning. It's just I I just feel very like you do what you're supposed to do and it still doesn't fucking matter. And that is not fun.
I think you just take these things too personally. It's just a sports bet. Did you see Bitcoin went over 44,000 today?
I did not. And the reason why is because I don't care about Bitcoin.
Michigan, this was the big news, I'd say. Michigan moved a little bit. Michigan moved up. We're at -2 right now. I've seen some 2.5. That's pretty interesting because the public is very squarely on Alabama, as you probably would expect. Very, very one-sided betting in that game. That's the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. That's a sweet game. I saw Jimmy Harbaugh, my guy.
Sorry, I was over here betting because I just found a 1.5 still here
That's
at
fine.
the Hard Rock.
I
Am
kind
I
of
allowed to say
always
that?
assume I always assume you're betting.
No,
You know
not
what I
always.
mean?
But this time I was.
Like if you're anytime your eyes kind of go blank, I figure, okay, Kelly must be making a sports wager.
Or I'm looking for something that is very pertinent for the show. Okay, so I'm back
Yeah.
on. So we've got Air Force, Texas State, Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah, that's right. Then we had a few we mentioned earlier last week's show. Like I believe Kentucky was one against Clemson.
Yep.
You know, I talked to a reporter today. They interviewed me about the
Member of the media.
Yes, she is. Interviewed me about the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. That is the day after Christmas in Phoenix. That's UNLV, Kansas.
Yes, I like UNLV.
You like UNLV? And then I also talked to a reporter about the Las Vegas Bowl. And this was
I like Northwestern, but
that game is Saturday. That game's at Allegiant Stadium. And what the reporter said was it just seemed like the Northwestern coach was very happy to be there, and the Utah coach didn't really seem to care. And I said
Correct.
that makes sense because
of course,
Northwestern, this is a great outcome to Northwestern season. Not only did they make it to a bowl game, they're getting to go to Las Vegas for the week. Utah, did they
win the Pac-12 last year? They were in the Pac-12 championship last year.
I was there.
Yeah, and so this is kind of like a
Utah's like
I catch they're under 8.5 wins.
Utah's like a semi-regular participant in the Rose Bowl at this point. They've been to a couple Rose Bowls recently. They're not. It's just hard to imagine them being super motivated for the Las Vegas Bowl. That game is on Saturday night at Allegiant Stadium. What do you got for me in the bowl season?
That's it. I bet Northwestern a little while back with CT bets and my buddy Joe when it was at 7. We kind of thought the same thing. 6.5. Could I condone betting it? I mean, probably. I know it's a significant difference, and Northwestern is going to be lacking on the talent side of the ball. But I don't know how we can sit here and we can talk about all these situations and these narratives, but there's really no way to quantify if a team is excited to be there. I mean, Utah's been to Las Vegas a ton. I mean, I had Utah fans now that they're joining the Big 12, like try to get the Big 12 moved from Kansas City or Dallas to Las Vegas. And we're like, what? What sense does that make? That doesn't.
Isn't Utah joining the Big 12?
They are, but they're the only ones all the way out here. Them and BYU, kind of Colorado, kind of Arizona, but like a majority of them are.
Hold on now. You got Arizona State, Arizona, Colorado. I don't know. The landscape is shifting in the Big 12. I don't like it either. But
I just don't think Vegas is the correct fit. That's all I was saying.
You want it to be in Kansas City?
No, I don't care if it's in Kansas City or if it's in Dallas or if it's anywhere. I mean, all I'm saying is that you have West Virginia, you've got UCF, you've got Cincinnati, you have other teams that way over there, like on the other side of the country. And just because we added 4 or 5 teams from the western side of the United States doesn't mean we should just move where the Big 12 basketball championship's been forever. Well, it was the Big 8. And then now that the Big 12 championship games played in Dallas, Just because we added new members doesn't mean that we should go moving things.
Do you feel like you're a spokesperson for the conference? I noticed you said
no, I don't, but I do feel like the new members, like, just be happy you're not in the Mountain West, bro.
Wow. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, well, listen, I never thought that Utah fans were ever unlikable until they joined the Big 12, and some of their social media personalities, we'll call it, were not very friendly, not very nice, acted like they were somehow going to run this conference, like the Pac-12 was somehow defensively a powerhouse outside of Utah, in fact.
I like Utah. I went to the UFC event in Salt Lake City last summer. I had a tremendous time. Utah's great.
Yeah, except for the rule about the booze. Like, I still don't quite.
Yeah, that's a little overblown. We went to bars. We were drinking at bars all night, Friday and Saturday.
And they didn't care. They didn't count how many drinks you had, or
they definitely didn't count how many drinks we had, or there would have been an issue in Salt Lake that night.
Well, that's what I was asking. And maybe there's places that don't care to adhere to the rules or the laws. I don't know.
We had a good setup at the fights. We had kind of an open bar situation. Do you want to do NFL? That's option B, or Saturday morning, Liverpool, Arsenal, second place, first place in the English Premier League. They play each other at Anfield. What's more important to you personally? Liverpool hosting Arsenal for first place in the Premier League.
Well, considering now I need to get first place in weeks 16, 17, and 18 to just try to break even on this NFL season, let's go with NFL.
I'm 7-3 in the last quarter of the circa millions, right?
Okay.
But like if it had run 13 through 16, then I'd be gold, because 5-0 in week 13, 5-0 in week 15.
Dang. Okay.
But it's 14 through 18, so there's still 3 weeks left to just totally collapse. What's your best bet in the NFL this week? KIV.
Yeah, it's really square, and I don't care. I took the Ravens. I think we're giving a little bit too much accolades to this Niners team. While I agree Brock Purdy probably should be MVP, a lot of people disagree with me there, and that's fine. But I think Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, people tend to really downplay this team, and I don't fully understand it. I know both teams 11-3. Both teams want to be the 1 seed in their conference, right? Of course, like there's implications to this potential Super Bowl preview. But Baltimore 15-3-2 as an underdog since 2019. I can't get past that. They are just great underdogs. I like Harbaugh. I like Shanahan. I don't think that there is a 5.5 point difference between these two teams, and the market agreed with me. I took 5. It's now 4.5. So
we're at 5.
I like the Ravens. You guys still have a 5.5. Well, unfortunately for me, SuperBook is not legal in the state of Florida, so I did not get.
So I wrote down.
You guys are still at 5.5 right this second.
Well, I just did.
I feel like I don't believe you.
I did 2 interviews before this one, so I haven't been back in my office in over an hour. But we were there when I left my office.
Well, according to the WagerTalk odd screen, it was headed to 4.5. I'm just gonna say that.
Well, let me do. I wrote down a few things.
I am going to be in Tennessee this next week, so I probably could bet some interesting stuff. I want to ask your opinion on a potential hedge. Oh, sure enough, you guys are still 5.5. There you go.
Hedging is for losers.
No, hedging is for losers. Hedging is for losers. Yes. No, guaranteeing yourself profit if you think that the bet that you no longer hold is maybe the right side.
Do you want these NFL plays or not? Honestly.
Yes.
So I wrote down 2 that I just like, and one of them was Baltimore for a lot of the same reasons Kelly said. I agree. Then I like the Steelers. I don't know why. I think we've gone a little too far with the Bengals now. The Bengals are now a road favorite in Pittsburgh without Joe Burrow. I don't agree with that. And then the plays we saw sharp money on, Cleveland, big time. Cleveland favorite flip. They're favored at Houston. Cleveland's playing pretty well right now. Although
do you think they got bet because no CJ Stroud?
Yeah, of course. But Cleveland is just playing well right now. Like Flacco looks pretty good.
I was just getting ready to say Flacco
looks pretty good.
I mean, the guy's older than me. We were talking about
No.
Todd Furman earlier. I should have made the reference like, Todd, Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl when we first became friends. That's how long
Falcons,
ago.
I can't bet this one. The Falcons have ruined my football season. I hate them.
I like the Falcons.
They're a really sharp side. They're at home against Indianapolis. They're going back from Desmond Ridder to Taylor Heineke this week. Those guys are both so unbelievably bad, and that whole team, I can't stand the Falcons. And then they bet the Chargers. Chargers plus 13.5 against Buffalo. We're down to 12.
I didn't even see it hit open 14-13.
It was at
that
14.
Was like,
it opened 14.
Right, but like for like that fast.
That game on Thursday night it just shows you Kelly preaches it, whether she practices it or not, up for debate. But that was like example one of why you got to be careful with your bankroll. We had our best guy play the Chargers, and we had an account that gives us the wrong side on purpose, play the Raiders. We lost a lot of money on that game because, 9 times out of 10 that works. None of us got the memo that the Chargers decided to quit on the coach and not show up for the game to ensure that their coach would get fired. Was not aware of that. Obviously, the Chargers, when trying.
Okay, so I would agree that that's what it looks like in hindsight, but have we actually confirmed that any of these players would say that that's what actually happened? Like, it appeared that that's what happened, but like, do you think they really got together and were like, fuck it, let's just get this asshole fired?
They weren't even trying to tackle. The receivers were
wide. I
understand. One play, the guy fumbled the ball and just stood there looking at it on the ground. You were talking about not giving any effort. It was the most blatant punting of a game I've ever seen in the NFL. They did not care at all. And then at halftime, we were down on the concourse talking to some sharp bettors I know.
Did you go see Lisa? Did you bring her some Raiders cookies?
Lisa wasn't allowed in the section I was in.
I understand. That's why she was like, hey, can you bring us down some snacks?
Yeah. No, I didn't do that. But
that's rude.
Anyways, so these guys were talking about they want to bet under second half, which is kind of a trend during a blowout. And I said, I don't think that's a good idea. I feel like the Raiders could keep scoring until the game ended if they wanted to. And then the Chargers scored 3 touchdowns in the second half. I don't know. That whole game was...
That is a trend. But there's a lot of things that I think have really flipped over the last 3 to 5 years that maybe the sharp guys that have been around for a long time haven't really caught up with.
The book knows that's how it's going to get bet, and it's priced into the numbers now. Everybody knows that, well, that game didn't work out that way. But like, look at the Dallas-Buffalo game on Sunday. Dallas was getting their asses kicked. You could tell in like the second quarter the Dallas pretty much stopped trying, and Buffalo just wanted to get through the game without getting hurt. The Cowboys got manhandled, but a lot of it was because they just didn't want to be there in the second half. And that game ended really early too.
It did. So it was fast.
That's the kind of game where our guys would look to bet second half under, because you've got one team that stopped trying and another team that just wants to get out of there without getting anybody injured. Good performance by Buffalo. You want to do the mailbag? I had Buffalo. I went to 13-2 on Nesson.
I know you did.
I didn't get a text from you about that.
Because again, like I said, when we spoke with Lisa in the group chat.
No, I blocked it. I muted it.
You did not.
Yes, I did.
No, you're still in it. I will text it right now to prove you're still in it. It just doesn't give you a notification, but you're still in it.
Oh, okay.
So stop thinking you're not in it. You're in it. You're in the group chat.
I don't like when people play on my phone.
Okay. At Mike Myers _, I'm guessing short for investor on IG, says, who would you pick for NFL MVP and comeback player of the year, John Murray?
Where would you rank Mike Myers among the top 90s comics?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask serial killers.
No. Mike Myers, the guy.
The comic, yeah.
Like, so number one is Farley, right? Obviously.
Oh, they can only be 1990s?
Yeah. Farley's.
But Austin Powers and all that stuff was like in the 2000s at some point.
No. The first one was in the 90s. Mike Myers is funny. I don't know.
I think he's hilarious.
Does he? I don't think he goes above the Sandman. I don't think he does. I don't know. That's a better question than Mike Myers' investors question. I'd like to sink my teeth into that. I guess so. Let's say this about Brock Purdy. If Brock Purdy had been a first-round pick he'd be like minus 2,000 to be the MVP. There wouldn't even be a question about who the MVP is.
Well, that's because all these talking heads are like trying to discredit him because he went to Iowa State.
He has the best stats. His team has the best record. If he had been picked where Trey Lance got picked, he'd already be the league MVP. The betting would probably be off. I'll go Brock Purdy, comeback player of the year. That award's too stupid. I don't is it just DeMar Hamlin for getting back?
I was gonna say, are they just gonna make it DeMar Hamlin just because? I don't know. Can you even bet that? Where can you bet that at? You can't bet it here.
We don't do that. Shouldn't it be? Yeah, shouldn't it be Joe Flacco?
Whoa.
Russell Wilson's had a good year. Russell Wilson's bounced back. He's maybe going to get Kelly's team into the postseason, but I'll go.
If he'll just win 9 games, I will not say anything mean about him the rest of the year.
Give me Purdy. Give me Flacco.
Comeback player of the year, Joe Flacco.
It looks like Cleveland's going to make the playoffs, and Flacco's been a big part of that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll go Flacco.
Okay, Joseph the Fourth on IG says, what were the determining factors in making Michigan the favorite over Bama in the college football playoff? That's a great question because you were going to get Bama money no matter what. So why not march Bama -1 out there or Bama -2 out there instead of Michigan?
We call this when the bookmakers are showing off. Like the bookies know that Michigan is better than Alabama. That doesn't mean they're going to win. I think it's important that people understand that. Michigan is better than Alabama. Does that mean they're going to win on New Year's Day? No, not necessarily.
Well, just like Oregon was better than Washington, except Washington beat them both times.
But I will say this about Alabama. The argument, I know it's hard to get away from the head-to-head competition, but everyone wanted to talk so much about Texas winning in Tuscaloosa. That was like week 2. Alabama is a lot better now. Milroe is a lot better now. Alabama's very, very good. I don't think they're as good as Michigan. And now you're seeing some sharp guys betting Michigan and pushing the line up. Do you want to go through these hypothetical national championship game lines just so you can see kind of how we rate the teams? I can't hear you.
Sorry, I was muted because I was writing and typing. I apologize. I would love to hear your hypotheticals.
So these are for the national championship game. Bama, we got -3 against Texas. Michigan -3.5 against Texas. So why is Michigan only a half a point more than Bama if Michigan's -2 in the game? The idea would be that Alabama's power rating would go up so much because in this scenario, they just beat Michigan.
Okay, well, as somebody who has a Washington +4 ticket, I'm guessing because you gave me the hypothetical lines versus Texas, why aren't you giving me the hypothetical lines versus?
I'm going to do it right now. Bama, we got Bama 6.5 against Washington and Michigan 7 against Washington. Now, the one variable that could really change these numbers, and I don't think it's going to happen, but if Texas were to rout Washington in the late game, which I don't believe that'll happen, then you'll see some changes to these numbers because that's the second game.
Now, Texas, can you bet these now on the SuperBook app? Okay.
You can bet those right now. So Texas,
when I'm in Tennessee next week before the game start, if I really like Washington to beat Texas, right? Let's just say they win 34-31, no blowout, nothing crazy. There's value on the +7 versus Michigan right now.
But what if Michigan routs Alabama? It's tricky. If you bet, it's important. Tricky. People need to understand too. Let's say that Kelly bets Washington +7 against Michigan. If either of those teams don't make it, she'll get a refund. You want to do the next question?
Yeah, you're a stickler for those house rules. Good call. Reminder.
I am. Not everybody is. Not everybody in the media is, but I am big time.
Ranowski John on X says.
No. That's not Gal Ranowski. It's like it's at Gowronski. Gal Ranowski.
Gowronski.
Pronunciation is offensive
to the Polish. Listen, my boyfriend's got a Polish last name.
You don't know it?
I do. It's really hard. And actually, it was really funny. The lady today was like overworking on the house. She's like, "Oh, what's the invoice?" And like she was like writing it out in his name. And she goes, "Oh, you guys have different last names. You guys aren't married." And I go, "With that last name, do you know how hard it would be to like?" Hi. Oh yeah, let me phonetically spell my last name. Stuart's easy. There's 2 ways to spell Stuart, or you're an idiot. That's it. There's like only 2 ways. And I don't care if you spell it the other way. It doesn't offend me.
I sent a gift to your new dog, and I was surprised you didn't comment that I hyphenated the last name.
I did see that.
Well, you're a modern woman. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I would not even have a hyphenated last name.
Okay.
It's just pointless. There's no reason.
None
I
of my
like my name.
business.
My name's been this name for a very long time.
None of my business.
Okay. So anyway, John would like to know, do you think the Buffalo Bills will make the playoffs?
I do. I mean, I don't know if he's asking me or Kelly, but if you look at the market, I think the Bills were like -$2 to make the playoffs, right? And the live numbers. And they've got the Chargers this week. I gotta think they're gonna beat the Chargers on Saturday.
This is my issue that I asked you about hedging, and you're like, I think that's stupid.
I don't like hedging. But no, I think the Bills will make the playoffs. I think the Bills are the best team in the AFC.
That's the whole okay. So here's the thing. Right now, they're plus 220 to win the AFC East. I have 2 dimes at plus 275 to guarantee myself almost like $5,700 or $5,600. I got to look. Why not put a dime on Buffalo plus 220 and I guarantee myself a profit, and I don't care what basically happens week 18 because Buffalo might be a very small underdog. I'm not going to get plus 220 on week 18. If the Dolphins lose, they're only 1.5 point favorites this weekend to the Cowboys. I know the Cowboys are not that good, but the Bills should rout the Chargers. They should get revenge on the Patriots.
Well, you want to know what I think?
What would you do?
I don't dislike that at all because I think there's a chance that Buffalo will be favored at Miami. So
that's my whole point.
I don't.
I can just sit back. I can relax on week 18. And
you never sit back and relax. You're Kelly in Vegas. You might sit back, but you're still going to be stressed.
Okay, fine. That Tizank.
Yeah, that
on X says
the Tizank. Because you're saying
what was up with that Seattle parlay, Kelly? What was up with it? Apparently, Drew Lock hates DK Metcalf. I mean, he had an opportunity to throw it to him in the end zone, not once but twice, and he just said, "You know what? Screw you, DK." Smith.
Did you do a same game?
Jigba gets it. In Jigba, is that how you say it? Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Did you do a same game parlay for that?
Yeah.
Can I get you?
And of course, he went over his receiving yards, but like I said, Drew Lock's just like, yeah, screw you. I'm not gonna throw it to you in the end zone. It was great though. Seattle money line got very lucky there because I did not. I would not have bet Seattle money line had I known it was Drew Lock under center. They kept going back and forth. If Gino was out there.
This person on X is complaining about the pick. Is that what that is?
Probably. Okay. So
hold on. I want to go back. I want you as a Christmas present to me to do a same game parlay for the Ravens 49ers game and do a video promoting the big game giveaway. Can we do that?
Yes.
You can win 2 tickets to the Super Bowl. Kelly is going to be in Las Vegas.
I can't believe I have to be in Las Vegas for that. I don't know how. What are we going to do when Ariel's Ravens are in the Super Bowl and she railroads me into buying an $8,000 ticket to the damn game?
Ariel Epstein also going to be here.
Yeah.
I think you got to get into the big game giveaway. Kelly, I need a same game parlay out of you on Monday.
Yeah. No, so here's my question. Maybe that's what I got to do when I'm in Nashville next week. I got to opt in. Can I win those tickets?
Can you be the winner? That'd be funny if like you pulled your own name. I don't even know how they're selecting the winner, but like
no, I didn't. But I'm gonna pull my own name. That would be really cool.
Oh, nobody
would piss complain. A lot of people off.
Yeah, no one would complain. That'd be fine. All right, next question.
At Buckeye775 on X would like to know how you would rank the former Chargers coaches from least terrible to most terrible. Mike McCoy, Kevin Gilbride, Brandon Staley, Dan Henning, and Anthony Lynn. I replied to this question with an Anthony Lynn gif. Anthony Lynn with the face shield is probably still my favorite version of Anthony Lynn because.
How much do you remember about Dan Henning and Kevin Gilbride?
Nothing.
I'll rank the other 3. I think the best of those 3 is Brandon Staley.
Whoa, you think Brandon Staley is the best?
Out of those
Anthony Lynn, man, he was a national treasure.
Mike McCoy won a playoff game. The Chargers won at the Bengals, and then they lost to Denver the next week when Peyton.
Remember when Brandon Staley was up 24-0 and could have won a playoff game last year? That was cool.
I think it was 27-0. All right.
Either way, I had the Jags. Thank you, Brandon Staley. I miss you.
I'll go. Oh my God. I'll go McCoy. No, least to most terrible. Lynn, Staley, McCoy. That's my rankings. They're all terrible. That's tough.
I think that's the whole joke. Wiggy1313 on X says, love the show. Been following since its inception. Thanks, Wiggy. Question each. Kelly, as a Dolphins fan, I loved your AFC East pick. You feeling confident in it? Whoa, we just talked about this. John, is the Philly and KC line shaded up a few points as they are standalone games and the public will be all over?
Can you see that guy's name without thinking of Woogie?
Wiggy.
No, Woogie from
No. I call Wrigley. I call Wrigley the Shar-Pei that we have, Wiggy, all the time. That's what it reminds me of.
I think those lines are shaded up a touch. Remember, too, the Raiders are off of a huge win, and it looks like they're motivated to play for Antonio Pierce. I don't know what is going on with the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles are a mess right now. They won some games they also should have lost, like the Kansas City game.
Chiefs, Bills. I can't believe I'm not. Ariel loved the under 10.5 wins, and I bet it with her. I can't believe we're going to lose that. Like that. That's such bullshit. That was a good bet. And here we are.
These numbers are shaded up a little bit because they're standalone games. Plus, they're late in the week. Remember that. These games are Monday after the full card on Sunday, and there's games Thursday and Saturday. So there's going to be a lot of parlays going to Philly and Kansas City on Christmas Day.
That would make sense. Okay, Cleveland Cause on X says, hey, Vegas Murray, after your 13-2 NFL pick start, are you considering going into the transfer portal after the season to see what other podcasts might offer you big money to join their show?
No. I only enjoy doing the shows with Kelly. And you got to remember, the NFL is so completely random. I mean, anything could happen. What if you sign a big contract and then
like losing 2 Patriots games by half a point this year? That would be me.
It happens, man. NFL's tough. Yeah. NFL is tough. No Cleveland Cause. I enjoy Kelly too much. She's too cheery and too fun. I miss her too much.
At Braxton Dart on X, as bookmakers, you have your own power index of teams in each sports. However, the numbers/stats only say so much. How often have you or someone else at the sportsbook had to manually change the spread on a game because of factors that your models couldn't predict?
Well, they always do that. I mean, for one thing, you might enter in the numbers you think it should be, and then you find that the market is way off. Not way off, but off. Like, we teach our guys right now, if you like the game under, you can just be a half a point higher than the market. You don't need to be 3 points higher than or any example you want to use there. You can just get to the market and just shade it by a half a point or 1 point. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, but you can't be too far off market. Otherwise, you just get the scalpers and the board cleaners.
I don't like it when our guys are giving out like plus 6.5 when they'd be willing to take 6. I don't want you.
They already did take 6. And
they're gonna take.
Well, that's what I thought was weird when you said that you guys still had 5.5 on the Ravens, and I'm looking at the odds screen.
Well, I don't know what's going on with that Hard Rock bet. I don't know what's going on there.
All right, Vince in PGH on X says Vince loves us. He always is asking this question. What kind of handles expected for this weekend's rare boxing card that features several big names? Yeah. Anything of note to report?
Big boxing event in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Haven't seen much in terms of sharp action yet, but it should be really good. Anthony Joshua's fighting. Deontay Wilder's fighting. Don't forget Inoue, the monster. He's fighting on Tuesday.
Who's Inoue?
He's the best boxer in the world. He's a Japanese guy. He probably weighs like, I don't even know. He moved up weight classes recently. I think he's like literally like 120 pounds. I'd have to look at it.
I was going to say he weighs as much as I do.
But they call him the monster. I got to see him fight one
pound for pound. He's the best. You said.
In the world. a lot of people would say it's Terrence Crawford, which is fair. But Inoue, Terrence Crawford's great too. This guy's a lot of fun. He's a big favorite. He fights Tuesday in Tokyo. Good boxing this week. No UFC for a few weeks. And I think after Colby's showing on Saturday, we can take a couple weeks off.
Yeah, right? I was gonna say we'll just end on that note. Not a high note, but we'll just end on that note.
I love the UFC and I love Dana White, but that was disappointing.
I do also love Dana White, but again, maybe we learned from our experience and we're going to grow from it.
Yeah, we will.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope you have a Merry Christmas.
Happy
back.
Yeah. Happy non-denominational holiday to you and the Stewart family.
Well, Hanukkah already happened, and you forgot to wish Ariel Epstein a happy Hanukkah, so that's a shame on you. And New Year's will be back for. So I think it's okay to say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.